Hey, Mr. Sherman here. Continuing on part 3 with our Brick Breaker video. I wanted to go over the score, lives, and the clock, and we might get to the bricks. So, we probably will. So, let's first do a few things. So, let's set the clock up. And I went to blocks, but actually, I want to go back to designer real quick. Because one of the things I want to make sure is I uncheck this timer enabled. Because I don't want my timer to be enabled when I first load the app. I wanted to start ticking, to start counting when I hit start. So first, I'm going to grab this clock.timer block. And what this block is doing right here is it is referenced at every interval. What is the interval? It's the number right here in milliseconds. So 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. So every 1 second, we want to add 1 to seconds. So I'm going to make a variable, and I'm going to recommend trying to keep all your variables kind of together. So I'm going to make a variable just called time left. And actually, we're counting down. I said add, we're going to count down. And I'm just going to initialize this to, actually, it really doesn't, it really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to initialize it to 60. And when this is every 1 second, when the clock is enabled, I want it to go timer left, time left -1. We're going to subtract 1 from this. And one of the steps that people always forget, my students always forget, is you got to update this label. And what frustrates me about this is it's a very easy step to miss. It's a very easy step to miss. But 2 seconds of testing will show you, and it really gets on my nerves when people miss it. And I'm actually going to go one step farther. I'm going to be a bit fancy with this because I want my game to look good. I want it to look nice. So I'm going to do all that. So every 1 second when my clock is enabled, we're going to subtract 1 from time left and update my label. Well, how do I enable my clock? So we got to make sure we're doing that as well. When I hit start, set it to not false. I grabbed the wrong block. True. And we probably want to, when I pause the game, stop it. And when I restart the game, start it. And just for good measure, I'm going to go throw one of these in here as well. And when I restart the game, I probably also want to reset my time. And same as always, grab our label, snap that in. All right, let's set up our lives real quick. So what we're going to do is every time the ball hits an edge, we got to check if the edge we just hit was the bottom edge. And if it was, what we're going to do is we're going to move our ball back to the top of the screen, set its speed to 0, and subtract 1 from our lives. So I'm going to go in control. I'm going to grab, and actually how we have this set up, or how we're going to set this up, it really shouldn't matter where we put this. But I'm just gonna put it here for now. But again, it really shouldn't matter. And we're gonna check. And these blocks work basically the same. I think the only difference is, yeah, this has the unequal, the equal, and unequal, whereas this has all the everything. So I usually just tend to use this one because it's more versatile. But we're gonna say if the edge we hit, and if you read this, it tells you what each edge is. It's kind of written in a weird way, but the south edge, the bottom edge, is -1. So if the edge is -1, what we want to do is we want to, and I'm going to actually do this real quick, and you're going to see we're doing the same thing here twice. So what I like to encourage my students to do is when you see that, make a procedure, make a function, and put that inside of it. So let's make this, and let's just call this the ball reset, just ball reset. And I'm just going to move both of these in here, and then now allow me to call this. And I'm going to get rid of these blocks, and then I can call this. So if I hit the restart button, call ball reset, which will put the ball back up here. So we also need to, and I'm going to make a variable, lives left. And we said this is going to be 3, right? So we're going to say 3 the bottom edge, we're going to reset the ball, and we're also going to subtract 1, and watch how fancy that we can be with this. From I called live left. I'm gonna have to fix that because that's gonna bother me. Subtract 1 from lives left, and as always, don't forget to update our label. And I like once you start figuring this software out, you start figuring out how you can just kind of just duplicate blocks, and it really saves a lot of time. It actually is really well done. You can lives left. You can build a lot of things pretty fast once you start getting it down. And why did that? Lives left. There we go. Okay. Cool. So if we hit the bottom edge, subtract 1 from lives left, reset the ball, all that good stuff. And we'll set up game over later. I'm not going to worry about that for now. We can set that up later, but that is the basic function.